My friend, life will test you, and not with polite little pop quizzes. I'm talking about the kind of challenges that knock the air out of your chest, make you question everything, and have you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if you'll ever feel whole again. You see, nobody escapes the storm. Sooner or later, it comes for all of us: betrayal, loss, failure, heartbreak, financial ruin, health scares, the death of a dream. The question is not if you'll be hit. The question is, what will you do when the hit comes? Will you fold? Or will you fight? When everything you've worked for falls apart, you have two choices. You can surrender, or you can stand up in the rubble and say, "This is not the end of my story." You've got to understand, challenges don't come to destroy you. They come to introduce you to the warrior inside you that you didn't even know existed. That part of you that can take a hit, bleed, cry, and still crawl forward, because forward is the only direction worth going. You have to stop asking, "Why me?" and start declaring, "Try me." The most horrific life challenges will try to convince you that you're done. But what they don't know is this is the part of your life where your character is being forged. And one day, the pain you feel today will become the power you use tomorrow. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, you'll have moments where you can't see the light. But if you can keep moving, even with tears in your eyes, even if you have to crawl, you will outlast the storm. You are stronger than you think, braver than you believe, and more unstoppable than you imagine. The world hasn't seen your best yet, but it's about to. Life is not a straight, smooth road. It is a winding path with sharp turns, blind corners, and sudden drops that you never saw coming. Too many people walk through life acting surprised when storms hit, as if they thought sunshine was promised forever. But the truth is, storms are part of the natural cycle. They don't mean you're cursed. They don't mean you're unlucky. They mean you're alive. The sooner you accept that storms are not an exception but an expectation, the better prepared you'll be when the skies turn dark. When you expect life's storms, you stop living in denial. Denial makes you fragile. It keeps you soft and unprepared. You start thinking every good season will last forever, but it won't. There will be days when friends turn their backs, when opportunities collapse, when health takes a hit, when the money dries up. If you've been telling yourself, "That could never happen to me," then you'll be crushed when it does. But if you've trained your mind to say, "Storms will come and I'll be ready," you move differently. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence that nothing can shake you. Expecting storms is not about being negative, it's about being wise. A sailor doesn't take the boat out without checking the weather. A builder doesn't start a house without a plan for strong winds. And you, my friend, should not walk into life without a mindset prepared for hardship. Expecting storms allows you to build the emotional shelter you'll need before the rain starts falling. You don't start buying an umbrella when you're already soaked. You get it in advance. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that preparation kills joy. No, preparation protects joy. When you expect storms, you don't live in fear, you live in readiness. You can enjoy sunny days without clinging to them in desperation, because you know that when the rain comes, you won't drown, you'll endure. You'll even learn how to dance in the rain because your mind will be trained for resilience. When you expect life's storms, you also stop taking temporary pain as a permanent verdict. Some people collapse at the first sign of trouble because they think trouble means the end. But if you've trained yourself to know that this is just part of the journey, you won't panic. You'll know that storms pass. You'll know that clouds move. You'll know that the sun has never failed to rise after the darkest night. This mindset also changes how you see yourself. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of life, you start seeing yourself as a sailor navigating rough waters. You begin to respect your own ability to steer through chaos. You're no longer shocked when waves hit. You grab the wheel tighter, you adjust the sails, and you keep your eyes on the horizon. The storm doesn't scare you, it sharpens you. Preparation for life's storms also means gathering the right tools before they're needed. That means developing emotional strength, building financial safety nets, nurturing real friendships, and growing your faith or inner belief system. You can't control the wind, but you can strengthen your ship. And when you expect the wind, you make sure that ship is ready long before the first cloud appears. And finally, expecting storms frees you from the illusion that life is supposed to be easy. Once you let go of that illusion, every victory becomes sweeter. You don't waste time whining about the rain. You get busy building, moving, surviving, and thriving. And when the storm clears, you'll stand taller, not because the world became easier, but because you became stronger. When life blindsides you with pain, the first question most people ask is, why me? It's an emotional reflex, a desperate cry to understand why suffering has chosen them. But here's the truth. Life doesn't hand out challenges based on fairness. It's not about who deserves it. The question, why me, keeps you stuck in self-pity, staring at the problem instead of working toward the solution. If you want to overcome the most horrific challenges, you have to flip the script. You have to replace why me with try me. Why me says I'm powerless. Try me says I'm ready. That shift changes everything. It's the difference between letting life happen to you and making life answer to you. Try me is not arrogance, it's courage. It's a declaration that no matter what comes, you will stand up, face it, and refuse to be broken. It's looking at the challenge in the eye and saying you picked the wrong person to mess with. When you live in a why me state of mind, you're on the defensive. You wait for life to stop hurting you. But when you live in a try me state of mind, you go on the offensive. You start asking different questions. How can I use this? What is this trying to teach me? How can I come out of this stronger? Those questions open doors that why me will never unlock. Think about it. Every great fighter, every world-class achiever, every unbreakable soul you admire didn't get there by saying, why me? They got there by saying, bring it on. They understood that struggle is the ticket to strength. Without the storm, there is no sailor. Without the fire, there is no steel. Without the challenge, there is no champion. The try me attitude doesn't make life easier. It makes you tougher. It makes you adaptable. It makes you creative. It forces you to discover solutions where others only see walls. And it gives you the confidence that if you survive this storm, you can survive the next one and the one after that. It turns pain into training. It turns fear into fuel. This shift also changes the energy you carry. People can feel the difference between someone who is crushed by life and someone who is charging toward it. The first person attracts pity. The second inspires respect. When you walk into a room with the spirit of try me, you radiate resilience. People start to believe in you because you clearly believe in yourself. And that belief creates opportunities even in the middle of chaos. And here's the thing, when you start living with a try me mindset, you become a threat to your challenges. Your problems realize they can't break you the way they break others. You become unpredictable to adversity because instead of running from it, you use it. That's when life stops seeing you as prey and starts respecting you as a force. So the next time life knocks you down, don't waste a single breath asking, why me? Plant your feet, square your shoulders, and make the shift. Because the moment you say, try me, you stop waiting for the fight to end and you start winning it. Pain is one of life's most misunderstood forces. Most people run from it, hide from it, or do whatever they can to numb it. But pain is not just a punishment, it is a professor. It comes into your life with lessons you cannot learn in comfort. When you start seeing pain as a teacher, you stop being afraid of it, and you start asking, what are you here to teach me? That's when transformation begins. Every major breakthrough in history, in business, in sports, in personal growth, it's been born out of pain. The athlete pushes past burning muscles. The entrepreneur learns from failed launches. The survivor rebuilds after loss. Pain shapes you in ways that nothing else can. It demands your attention. It strips away illusions, and it forces you to confront truths you would otherwise ignore. When you fight pain instead of learning from it, you suffer twice, once from the challenge itself and again from the resistance. But when you lean in, when you sit with the discomfort, you find that pain is speaking. Sometimes it's saying, you're stronger than you think. Sometimes it's saying, this path isn't right for you. Sometimes it's saying it's time to grow. Pain is rarely random. It's often a signal that change is required. Seeing pain as a teacher also means you stop taking it personally. You stop assuming life is picking on you. You start recognizing that pain visits everyone, but not everyone graduates from its lessons. Those who learn rise higher. Those who refuse stay stuck. The question is not will pain come, it's will I pass the test? This mindset turns pain into an investment instead of a loss. If you're going to hurt, make it count. If you're going to cry, cry while moving forward. If you're going to fall, fall in a way that teaches you how to get up faster next time. Pain is the tuition fee for the school of greatness, and the diploma is wisdom, resilience, and power. When you see pain as a teacher, you begin to trust it even when it feels unbearable. You know it's doing its work, breaking down the old version of you so the new one can emerge. It's like the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. The process is uncomfortable, even crushing, but the result is something precious. Without the heat, there's no brilliance. Without the pain, there's no transformation. This approach also gives you control over the narrative. Instead of saying, this pain is ruining me, you can say, this pain is raising me. That shift changes how you show up. You stop waiting for the pain to end before you live your life. You start living and learning in the middle of it. Pain stops being the villain and becomes the trainer. And trainers don't show up to destroy you, they show up to prepare you. And here's the truth. The lessons pain teaches you will outlast the pain itself. The storm will pass, but the strength will remain. And every time you face a new challenge, you'll remember what the last one taught you. Pain will have given you more than it took. There will be moments in life when quitting feels like the easiest option. You'll be tired, drained, beaten down, and the voices in your head will whisper, just give up. It's not worth it. But in those moments, you must make a decision. And that decision must be, I will not surrender. Because surrender doesn't just end the battle, it ends the chance for victory. Refusing to surrender is not about pretending you're not hurt. It's about saying, yes, I'm hurt, but I'm still here. You can be bleeding, you can be crying, you can be exhausted, but if you keep moving forward, you're still in the fight. And as long as you're in the fight, there's still a chance to win. The people who overcome the most horrific challenges are not always the strongest. They are the ones who simply refuse to be broken. Every success story has a chapter where giving up would have been easier. The hero could have walked away, the dream could have died, and nobody would have blamed them. But something inside them said, not yet, not like this. That inner refusal is what separates the ones who make history from the ones who disappear quietly. Refusing to surrender is a mindset you have to decide on before the storm hits. If you wait until you're in the middle of the pain to decide whether to keep going, the pressure will be too great. But if you've already decided, I will not quit no matter what, then when the darkness comes, your course is set. You're not negotiating with your limits. You're defying them. This mindset also breaks the illusion of easy wins. When you know surrender is not an option, you stop wasting energy looking for shortcuts. You accept that the road will be hard, and that acceptance frees you. You stop being shocked by the difficulty and start focusing on endurance. Because the truth is, the people who win aren't always the fastest. They're the ones who last the longest. Refusing to surrender also forces you to get creative. When plan A falls apart, you find plan B. When the door is locked, you find a window. When the bridge is burned, you build a raft. Giving up shuts down your imagination. Refusing to quit activates it. You start looking for possibilities where others see dead ends. And the moment you refuse to surrender, you send a signal to your challenges, I'm not leaving. That changes the fight. Problems that would have crushed someone else have to work harder to take you down, and often they can't, because you've made it clear you'll take every hit, every setback, every delay, and still get back up. You've decided that the only way you're leaving the battlefield is standing tall. Remember this, the enemy can take your energy, your comfort, even your opportunities, but if they can't take your will, they can't win. The fight may be long, the road may be brutal, but if you refuse to surrender, eventually the storm will run out of rain. And when it does, you'll still be there. There's a side of you that you haven't even met yet. A version of you that only wakes up when the pressure is unbearable, when the odds are impossible, and when everything is on the line. That version is the warrior within, and you will never meet them if you keep living life in comfort mode. The warrior doesn't show up for easy days. The warrior shows up for war. Activating the warrior within means tapping into a deeper level of grit than you thought you had. It's the moment when fear takes a back seat and determination takes the wheel. You stop worrying about how tired you are, how much it hurts, or how far you still have to go. You focus only on the next move, the next step, the next punch. Warriors live in the now because the now is where battles are won. Every person has that inner warrior, but most never wake it up because they avoid hardship. They never push themselves beyond what's comfortable, so the warrior stays asleep. But when life throws you into the fire, you have a choice. You can melt or you can forge. The warrior is forged. The warrior says, this heat will not destroy me. It will make me unbreakable. The warrior within is not reckless. It's strategic. It doesn't fight every battle, but it refuses to lose the ones that matter. Activating your warrior means staying focused when others get distracted, staying calm when others panic, and staying relentless when others give up. You become the one who keeps fighting long after others have walked away. When you activate the warrior, you stop negotiating with your limits. You stop saying, I can't do this, and you start saying, watch me. You no longer measure the fight by how much you've already endured. You measure it by how much you're still willing to give. The warrior mindset doesn't ask, how long will this take? It asks, how far am I willing to go? This shift also changes the way you see your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone hoping to survive. You see yourself as someone built to win. That belief alone makes you dangerous to your challenges because they can hit you, but they can't break you. The warrior within knows that pain is temporary, but victory lasts forever. Activating your inner warrior also inspires others. When people see you standing tall in the middle of chaos, when they watch you take hit after hit and keep moving forward, it sparks something in them. They start to believe that they can do it too. Your fight becomes fuel for someone else's fight. And that's how warriors create more warriors. And remember, the warrior within doesn't need perfect conditions to show up. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It comes alive in the moment you decide that retreat is not an option and that you will face whatever's in front of you with every ounce of strength you've got. Once that warrior is awake, nothing can put it back to sleep. One of the fastest ways to drain your strength in the middle of a crisis is to spend your energy on things you cannot control. When you focus on what's beyond your reach, you feed frustration, anger, and helplessness. But the moment you shift your attention to what's in your hands, you reclaim your power. You can't control the storm, but you can control how you sail through it. Focusing on what you can control is not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to waste your fight on battles you can't win. You can't change the past. You can't control how other people feel about you. You can't stop every challenge from showing up, but you can control your attitude, your choices, your work ethic, and the way you respond. And often, those four things make the difference between sinking and surviving. When life hits you hard, your mind wants to run in 100 directions, replaying what went wrong, worrying about what's next, obsessing over what could happen. That mental chaos is exhausting, but when you narrow your focus to what can I do right now, you cut through the noise. You give your mind an anchor in the middle of uncertainty. This mindset also protects your energy. Think about it. If you spend hours arguing with reality, you're already defeated before you even start. But if you channel that same time and energy into actions that matter, you create momentum. And momentum builds hope. Even small wins start to shift how you feel, and that emotional shift is fuel in tough times. Focusing on what you can control also teaches discipline. It forces you to be intentional instead of reactive. You stop living in panic mode and start living in purpose mode. Instead of saying, I can't do anything until things get better, you say, I will do what I can with what I have right now. That kind of mindset turns survivors into leaders. And here's something powerful. When you focus on what you can control, you often influence more than you think. Your calm can steady others. Your persistence can inspire someone else to keep going. Your discipline can set an example that changes the environment around you. You don't have to control everything to change the outcome. Sometimes controlling yourself is enough. This approach also keeps you from spiraling when things go wrong, because instead of being consumed by what if, you're committed to what now. And that simple shift keeps you moving forward when fear tries to freeze you in place. It doesn't mean the road gets easier. It means you're walking it with your eyes on the next step instead of staring at the storm clouds. The truth is, storms will always bring distractions, temptations, and fears that try to pull your attention away from what matters. But if you can keep your focus locked on the few things you can control, you'll keep moving forward while others stand still. And forward is where victory lies. When you're in the middle of life's most horrific challenges, standing still is not an option. The longer you stay frozen, the heavier the weight becomes. Moving forward, even if it's just an inch at a time, is the difference between staying trapped in the storm and eventually walking out of it. Progress doesn't always have to be fast, but it always has to be forward. Moving forward at all costs means refusing to let fear, pain, or uncertainty paralyze you. You might not know the full path ahead. You might not see the finish line, but you don't need to. All you need to see is the next step and the courage to take it, because one step becomes two, and two steps become 10, and before you know it, you've traveled farther than you thought possible. Too many people lose their battles because they wait for perfect conditions before taking action. They think, I'll move when I feel ready. But readiness is a myth. If you wait until you feel strong, confident, and certain, you'll wait forever. Strength comes from moving forward while you still feel weak. Confidence comes from taking steps before you're sure they'll work. When you commit to moving forward at all costs, you eliminate the option of retreat. You burn the boats. You stop looking for excuses to turn back and start looking for reasons to push ahead. That decision alone changes how you think and act, because once going backward is no longer on the table, every ounce of energy goes toward finding a way through. Forward motion also builds resilience. Every small step you take in the middle of chaos is proof to yourself that you can still move, still decide, still fight. And that proof builds momentum. Momentum is a force. Once it's in your favor, it becomes easier to keep going. That's why even the tiniest progress matters in the middle of a storm. Sometimes moving forward means pushing. Other times it means crawling. And some days it might mean simply refusing to be pushed back. But all of that counts. Every bit of movement keeps you from sinking deeper into hopelessness. Even if you're slower than you'd like, forward is forward. This mindset also silences the voice of defeat, because every time you take another step, you're proving that the challenge didn't stop you. It may have slowed you, bruised you, or knocked you down, but it didn't win. That's the power of relentless forward motion. It turns survival into victory, one step at a time. And here's the truth. If you move forward long enough, you will eventually outrun the storm. It can't chase you forever, but you'll never find that clearing in the sky if you stop moving. So no matter how hard it gets, no matter how heavy it feels, take the next step, then the next. Then the next. Pain by itself can feel like a thief. It steals your peace, your joy, your sense of control. But pain doesn't have to be a thief. It can be a resource. The same energy that breaks you down can also be the energy that builds you up if you choose to channel it. Turning pain into power is about refusing to let your suffering be wasted. If you're going to hurt, make it count. Every great comeback story is powered by pain. People don't rise from comfort. They rise from wounds, losses, and failures that could have crushed them. But instead of letting those wounds define them, they use them as fuel. They let the pain sharpen their focus, ignite their ambition, and strengthen their resolve. The very thing that tried to destroy them becomes the reason they're unstoppable. Pain can be turned into power when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I do with this?" That shift changes everything. Pain can give you perspective others don't have. It can deepen your empathy, making you a better leader, friend, or partner. It can teach you lessons about endurance, resourcefulness, and self-belief that no book, no class, no speech could ever teach you. When you carry pain the right way, it becomes a source of drive. You remember the nights you thought you wouldn't make it, and that memory pushes you harder than any motivational quote ever could. Pain can make you hungry, hungry to succeed, hungry to prove wrong every doubt, hungry to create a life where you never have to feel that kind of helplessness again. That hunger is power. Turning pain into power also means refusing to let it turn you bitter. Pain can harden you in two ways. It can make you cold, closed off, and cynical, or it can make you fierce, wise, and compassionate. The choice is yours. You can let pain shrink your heart, or you can let it expand your capacity to understand others who are suffering. One path traps you, the other frees you. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. At first, pain just hurts. It feels like it's only taking from you. But with time, reflection, and the decision to grow instead of collapse, you start to notice something. The very weight that once made you feel weak is now making you stronger. The scar you carry becomes a medal, proof that you survived what could have destroyed you. And here's the truth. Pain when processed and redirected, becomes one of the most renewable sources of power you'll ever have, because you will never forget what it felt like to be at your lowest. And that memory will keep you moving, keep you disciplined, keep you focused when others quit. Pain reminds you of what you've already overcome, and that reminder is fuel you can tap into anytime. The beauty of turning pain into power is that it not only changes your life, it can change the lives of others. When you share how you took your suffering and built something from it, you give hope to someone still in the dark. You prove that the fire that burns can also be the fire that lights the way.